Hi, my name is Jean and this is my channel Learn with Jean. In today's video, I'm going to talk about treating your creator business as a startup. Because a lot of times being a creator business is a one-person or solopreneur shop, and it can be really challenging and frustrating trying to scale, trying to grow, and feeling like you're still in this kind of startup landscape. And so what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about what it means to be a startup, looking at examples of many startups that we're familiar with, such as Airbnb, Uber, and Lyft, and how they go from being a startup to taking their product into a service that continues to grow repeatedly. Because the one thing that is necessary, the one thing that's really important in your creator business is to take what you've done and successfully repeat it over and over again so that it becomes scalable and repeatable and like a well-oiled machine. So let's just take a step back and look at the early days of Uber, Airbnb, and Lyft. It wasn't all that grand when it started out. If we look at Airbnb, it started out as two guys, the founder and his friend, who decided they wanted to rent out space because they wanted to make some extra cash, and they thought, why not rent out our extra space? And so Airbnb started out, before Airbnb became a big company, Airbnb was a very small team of two. And so from two, they really had to go out and see if there was a market for renting out rooms or renting out like a living room and so forth before they really started to hire more people and brand themselves as Airbnb. And so the same thing happened with Uber and Lyft, is that they saw a need for people who wanted to book rides and alternative to taxis and earn a side hustle on their own. And so they started to test out this idea very early on in San Francisco. And I remember early on as a user being able to ride in an Uber and being able to book on the app and how exciting it was. And so there are moments as a startup where it is great because it's fun, and there's moments where, because it's such a wide open net, it can give you lots of room for creativity, but it can also be frustrating and challenging because you're trying to do everything either by yourself or with a very small team. And so if you are in that space of looking to start a creator business, then I want to encourage you to use this idea of lean startup. So as you can see from the examples that I've mentioned, Airbnb and Uber and Lyft, they all started out very small and went out there and tested. Because the more you test, the more you decide to see if it's worth pursuing or if it's not worth pursuing and pivoting into a different direction. The whole goal of lean startup is just to have a minimum viable product. So take the idea of a course and pre-sale it to see if you can get some small and or quick wins, get some money so that you can invest it back into your business. And just as another context, a creator business can grow. It can take a creator business many years to reach the level of success that you may see some of the big name influencers such as Grant Cardone, Lewis Howes, etc., or whoever out there that you look up to as an influencer. It takes years and years to reach that level. There is no overnight success. You have to plant seeds and reap the harvest and work from your effort over time. And if you are looking to start your creator business, remember that using lean startup is a great foundation to just test, to get your minimum viable product out there, and to decide if that is the right angle. What it may be is that if the first try doesn't work out, like if you put out your product out there and the first group of users don't really respond in a positive way, then maybe you go back and tweak the product and direction, or you can decide to abandon it altogether. I will say that if you're committed to being in the creator space, it takes a lot of iteration and testing to get to the right product, to get to the right market, and to get the kind of scale and results that lots of people desire in terms of passive income. And so remember, if this is you and you're looking to build and or grow your creative business, treat it like a startup. Don't go too big into big branding and big marketing, but instead go for testing. Test out either organic marketing in different social media platforms, And then if you find that it's not really working, you can go to paid advertising. But I always say organic is the best because that's the way that you develop and nurture relationships with your audience. So remember, lean startup is the best foundation for growing and or beginning your creator business. And just remember that there is a lot of sweat and tears that go into it. And so the metaphor that a lot of people use in the startup landscape is this idea of sweat equity. So sweat equity means that it can take up to 7 years to really exit your business and or reach that $1 million range that so many people desire and or see online in ads and social media posts. Just remember there's a lot of sweat, blood, and tears because it's challenging. There's a lot of moving parts. But the main thing I can say is that it's worth it if you're committed to it. And sometimes it means taking a pause and going in a different direction and tweaking the direction that you're going in. But ultimately, just remember that there is no guarantee of success. The results are variable, but most of all, if you're committed and you continue to iterate and test and try different things, you'll eventually find your rhythm and find the momentum in your business. Don't forget, check out Lean Startup and look at studies of Airbnb, Uber, and Lyft to get some inspiration into growing and how you might apply those lessons in your creator business. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.